Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Monday's thought for the day. Hope you're all well and we've had a good weekend. I just want to share something, I think, quite personal, really, with you. The sort of last week, 10 days or so, probably 2 weeks, I've sort of been found quite difficult, and there are two situations that I've found difficult, that I've felt. I think it's the helplessness that I feel about these two situations, and one touches very deep within me, and it's my grandson is having real difficulty coping with the transition from primary school to senior school, and there's not any real sign at the minute of him settling. He's 4 weeks in, and he's very tearful every morning, and really struggling, quite unhappy. And if you're a grandparent, you know how that can really touch your inner being, because if you're anything like me, I feel so much love for my grandchildren that it's almost physically painful sometimes. But this particular situation keys into something that I remember as a child, throughout my school life, that I really struggled, and I really struggled with the transition from primary school to senior school, and it almost feels that I'm going through this myself. Such is the deep empathy that I feel for my grandson, but it also makes me feel uncomfortable, because I remember those difficult times as if I were going through them right now, and I remember, causing my mum great pain, and that's coming up in me, because she would try and get me to school, and I would be very reluctant, and so on and so forth. So all those things come up for me, and all I want is for my grandson to feel happy, and for him to settle in his new school, and I want to do it for him, but I can't. So I feel a bit helpless. Another situation that sort of pulled me down is a dear friend in Nigeria is currently really quite poorly, and we've spoken to him on FaceTime a few times in the last week, and he is really, really poorly, and he's in a hospital there, and the hospital doesn't compare to the hospitals we have here. The equipment is very limited. The doctors are a very scarce resource, and we're concerned that he hasn't had a proper diagnosis and that he's not getting proper treatment. And one thing it does do is to make me feel very thankful for what we have in this country, that we can go and see a doctor, we can go to the hospital and have, even though there may be waiting lists and there might be criticism of about how we're not properly funding the NHS, it nevertheless is streets apart, worlds apart from what my friend is, the context my friend is in. And he asked at one point because he was so desperate if we could get him over here and get the right diagnosis and treatment for him. But the barriers to that, there are just so many that it might seem impossible. And these two situations in themselves have pulled me down. And I've been thinking, why are they pulling me down so much? Why are they pulling me down so much? And I think it's because I'm looking for the solutions just within myself. That I think that I should have the resilience and the power and the means to change these situations for a grandson and for my friend. But I'm just relying on my own strength, and my own strength isn't, I'm not strong enough. I can't effect change. I can be supportive. I can be there as much as I can for my grandson, and I can be there in a more limited way for my friend in Nigeria simply because of the miles between us. But I can't solve it for both of them. I can't solve it, and that's the problem. I want to solve it, but I can't. And I have to let go. We have prayed, but I'm just wondering, have I really truly let go in my prayer? Have I really truly given these situations over to God? And when I've reflected on it, clearly I haven't. I'm trying to do things in my own strength, and it wears me down. And it's a trial. It feels like a trial. And I was just thinking, I read a passage from James 1, verses 2 to 3, and it says, "Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness." Now I could sort of push God completely out of the picture, and there would be this vacuum. But what I need to do is that vacuum that would be created, I need to make it a space for God. And that passage, it holds a lot of weight for me and significance. Those moments of doubt and fear and helplessness are actually opportunities for my faith in Jesus to increase if I allow that space to be God-filled. And as Christians, we sometimes believe that having faith means that we're always sure, we're always right, and we're never faltering. But that verse in James I love because it reminds me that I'm wrong when I believe that. You know, God walks with us through those various trials. It's a process, and we can use that process if we're of a mind and a heart to make us more steadfast in Him. And sometimes we need a reminder. And it's a reminder, and this is what I really hold on to, that in the midst of our helplessness, there is always hope. And that was something I talked about last week as well. And that hope is not in ourselves. That belief isn't in ourselves, but it's in Jesus, the one who was sent for us. Well, I hope things do improve for both of those situations. I would ask for your prayers in that, and I will continue to pray and to try and hold that space for God, and not to think that I've got to do everything and sort everything out, solve everything. So I'll speak to you on Thursday. In the meantime, look after yourselves, and God bless. Bye-bye.